in process of developing a whole series of techniques which will enable the controlling oligarchy to get people actually to love their servitude. First of all, to standardize the population, to iron out inconvenient human differences, to create, so to say, mass-produced models of human beings arranged in some kind of a scientific caste system. A number of the predictions which were purely fantastic when I made them 30 years ago have come true or seem in process of coming true. But a number of techniques about which I talk seem to be here already. And that there seems to be a general movement in the direction of this kind of ultimate revolution, this method of control by which people can be made to enjoy a state of affairs which, by any decent standard, they ought not to enjoy.
Justice delayed is justice denied. And Mark Bowles is being denied justice from the day he was illegally incarcerated. For those that are watching, Diana Sprouse is Mark Bowles' mother, Gregory Mark Bowles' mother, who was railroaded into and prosecuted illegally and wrongfully convicted of trumped-up charges, absolute fabrications, whereas he was injured and given a brain injury. Aside from his own mental problems that he has PTSD from childhood diagnosed. He also suffers from epilepsy, and as a result, he had an epileptic seizure and mentioned his brother's name, and the authorities believed he was his brother. Then he was arrested for identity theft, locked up, and while locked up, Darcy T. Lewis, a in-and-out inmate, a revolving door inmate of the prison system. Is this the Apopka? What is it? Which prison was this, Diana?
This was at Anoka County
Anoka,
Jail.
that's it, I'm sorry. Anoka County Jail. And then what happened was he he threatened to rape Mark. So Darcy Lewis threatens to rape Mark. Mark informs the prison authorities, who do nothing, and in fact, I guess, encouraged it, and the entire attempted rape and assault on Mark Bowles by Darcy T. Lewis was captured on prison video, which is supposed to be used to prosecute these type of problems and to keep the peace in the prison. Well, he didn't get any charges at all. But yet, Mark is charged while he was put on drugs, heavy drugs, phenobarbital, overdosed on phenobarbital and other drugs, in a absolutely incoherent state, a totally intoxicated state, supposedly terrorist threatening on some nurses, and while there was no physical assault, he was charged with 5th degree and 3rd degree assault, as well as 2 counts of terroristic threats. It's unbelievable, and what's even more unbelievable is Judge Kundrat, name suits him, Judge Frank Kundrat, actually disallowed any of Mark's medical conditions or his physical condition at the time of these charges, and asked the jury to disallow that. The jury then wrongfully convicted him. And the judge also had the audacity to do what when he was instructing the jurors, Diana? What did he tell them about what he suppressed in the trial?
Well, he said that, well, this before the trial ever started, before the jurors were picked, he actually suppressed all defense evidence, meaning he could have not one scrap of evidence of any kind from any source. Not one person could testify on his behalf All they could hear was the state's evidence, and they contradicted their own statements over and over again. Now, what Judge Kundrat said to the jury was that they were to disregard, disregard, get it out of their mind. Don't think about this. Get it out of their mind. Anything that he may have suppressed, anything that he may have said to lead them to believe that he was guilty, that they were to make their decision solely upon the evidence that they had heard at the trial, which was only the state side of the story, and even that was so convoluted, it was unbelievable.
That's right, and it was a total kangaroo court, a total railroading, a total malicious prosecution. Gregory Mark Bowles has been targeted by the system and by these corrupt people filling the prisons with the multitudes of slaves, serfs, that continue to revolve in and out of the system for profit. It's not, there's no system to integrate these people back into society. The bulk of them shouldn't even be there. Actually, they're mentally challenged or ill. Half of the population in prison. They should be, but they've closed these prison hospitals, as I preambled before you called in, Diana, when I started this broadcast. So this is a systematic problem, and of course it breeds corruption, and that's what we're dealing with here. But rampant corruption, obvious corruption, blatant corruption, as in the case of Mark Bowles. So Mark Bowles is then wrongfully convicted, and he becomes depressed, and he attempts to take his own life. He put a 4-inch gash in his neck. He tried to slit his throat. He did. He slit his throat, ladies and gentlemen. And then no hospital, no medical facility, mental health facility would take him because of the recent conviction of these charges, which are erroneous.
That's right.
And he stayed for 72 hours in a hospital emergency room.
It was actually 5 days. They don't count weekends.
Oh, they don't count weekends. So 5 days, he spends 5 days, and when he is legally ready to leave and able to leave and had the ability to leave.
At 1:45 this morning. 1:45 his time.
At 1:35 this morning, in Central Time, they, instead of letting him leave and say, here, you can go now, after he was already legally allowed to leave, he has a bond out on until sentencing. They did what, Diana?
At 2 o'clock, they stuffed him in an ambulance as he was saying, I'm a sovereign citizen. I have the right to leave. You do not have a right to hold me. I want to leave now. They stuffed him in an ambulance and took him all the way to St. Paul, Minnesota, to United Hospital, which is another Alina Hospital, which is the corporation that almost killed him when they gave him medications that he was allergic to, and left him in a vegetative state last year, after Stearns County Jail had taken him out of ICU at St. Cloud Hospital for these alleged assaults. This one alleged assault, it was one count, and the judge trumped it up because he wouldn't take the plea agreement because he didn't even understand what was going on to begin with, and there shouldn't have been any charges. But the judge, that was the punishment.
He was incompetent to stand trial, certainly in understanding what's going on, and I had him on air a few times, twice actually. Yeah, and he clearly doesn't really know what's going on. He just doesn't. He just knows that he didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
That much he knows.
Yeah, so they overdosed him on Dilantin, which is another epileptic medication that they give people for their epilepsy, an anti-seizure drug. And they did that in Stearns County Jail. When I got him out of there, he was almost dead. Plus, he had the brain injury going on still. We had been in that hospital. He'd been there 6 days from the phenobarbital overdose that came from Anoka County. So, see, 2 jails, 3 hospitals later, and an injustice court system, and I'll tell you what, I've never seen anything like that court. But anyway, that judge, that prosecutor, that his alleged defense attorney, yeah, that's all taken us to here. So here we are.
Well, certainly there was a system here. Now,
there is.
Yeah, there's a system here. This isn't just Mark's case. They do this frequently.
They're trying to kill him. They are trying to kill him. They really are. They're seriously trying to kill him. I'm not exaggerating. They've been trying to kill him. And they're continuing now to try and kill him.
Trying to medically kill him in such a way, or to have events occur in such a way that his demise occurs, and they can, again, wipe their hands of it as they're not responsible for it, although they're allowing all of these types of things to happen, bringing him back to hospitals, not allowing evidence that he was overdosed. That clearly it's just horrible. It's like a nightmare. It truly is. It's like a horror movie. It's like this is something you would expect from the evils of Hollywood.
It is.
But then we realize that life is truly stranger than fiction, and there's more fact in fiction than there is in the real world. As far as the media is concerned, and what we are believed to perceive as reality. What the world is not what it appears to be, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't put that together.
Well, I can kind of see this coming like a freight train. What I think is probably going to happen is they're probably going to get him there. He's going to start having grand mals, and they're going to break his DNR and throw him into another coma and finish him off. That's what I think is going to happen. I hate to say that, but it's the truth. I really believe that.
Well, it's on the record right now, July 2nd, 2014. If this occurs, there's certainly this would constitute enough evidence for at least investigation into this possibility of this. Well, we know that this is going on, but to prove beyond reasonable doubt that this is not only that they're trying to kill Mark, but they're systematically abusing mentally ill and other patients that should be in hospitals with the prison system, as well as, of course, just the regular population of being put into this type of a real tyranny. MSNBC glorifies the prison system. It's like constantly on television. They have shows about prison, and cops. They show this one side, ladies and gentlemen. They don't show the truth. Anyway, keep going there. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. Yeah, so that's what I'm looking at right now, and I say that because this is a Lina hospital. This is the one that almost killed him before and had a great deal to do with the condition that he's in physically and mentally now. Now he is suffering from brain atrophy. His brain is shrinking. He's dying. It's continuing to shrink. So we could have had a few good years here at home, enjoyed each other. But they've taken him away. I did talk to an appellate attorney. I know the man, and he told me, he said, I'm not going to lie to you. He said, they usually rubber stamp these things in St. Paul, Diana. They go to St. Paul, and they usually rubber stamp them, no. He said, so you have maybe a 20% chance. He said, I'll take your money, and I'll give you, I'll charge you just a little bit over, what it's going to cost for filing fees. He said, but here's the deal. They usually just rubber stamp these cases, and they do not want to deal with them at all. In St. Paul, Minnesota,
but it's not just St. Paul, Minnesota. There are other jurisdictions where this occurs. This is outrageous. This is our government.
When I tried to speak to him about the commission that's supposed to monitor judges' misconduct, he cautioned me not to ever speak badly about the judge. And to not file
what are these guys, kings? Board. What are these elitist kings? I mean, they really believe that they are gods, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, those that control the world already believe themselves to be gods.